Welcome back to The Explainer. Let's jump right in. Look, if you've ever felt the absolute crushing weight of living paycheck to paycheck, or you're just completely overwhelmed by mounting bills, take a deep breath. Right now, we're laying out a clear, judgment-free roadmap to some actual, real financial relief. We're going to break down exactly how you can take back control of your finances. So, let's get into it.
Let me ask you something. Are you keeping your debt a secret? Seriously, financial stress can be incredibly isolating. It really can feel like you're the only one out there struggling to make ends meet or the only one dodging phone calls from numbers you don't recognize. And it's so easy to feel like you have to hide all of this from your friends, your family, maybe even your partner.
But consider this massive number, 55 million. According to a NerdWallet survey, more than 55 million credit card holders are keeping their debt a secret. That's a lot of people. A third of folks with credit card debt haven't told a single soul how much money they owe. So the point here, you are absolutely not alone in this anxiety, not even close. And more importantly, you do not have to fix it alone.
Here's our guided roadmap for today's explainer. First, understanding credit counseling. Then, why choose the NFCC? After that, accessing free credit counseling, key benefits and tips, common myths and FAQs, and finally, resources and next steps.
Section 1. Understanding credit counseling. Safe relief versus predatory traps. You know, when you're desperate for a way out of debt, you're going to see all these loud ads for quick fixes. But let's look at the actual data from the National Consumer Law Center. We're comparing nonprofit credit counseling with for-profit debt settlement. So, debt settlement companies basically tell you to stop paying your bills so they can negotiate a lower payoff. But what's the reality? While nonprofit counseling focuses on 100% principal payment with waived fees, debt settlement negotiates partial payments that, honestly, most people just drop out of. Are the fees predictable? Yes, for counseling. It's a big no for settlement. Does it stop the harassment? Counseling usually does, but debt settlement actually increases collection calls and even lawsuits. And get this, while counseling might cause a slight temporary initial drop in your credit score before it steadily rises, debt settlement plummets your score by an average of 161 points within just 6 months. That's a huge hit.
The real trap here is the incredibly heavy burden of debt settlement fees. These for-profit companies are charging you hefty fees just to get the exact same settlement the creditor would likely offer you directly anyway. Those fees eat up a huge chunk of the cash you are desperately trying to save. And meanwhile, the debts that don't settle, they just keep getting bigger and bigger with late fees and interest. It's literally a system that often leaves people way worse off than when they started.
Okay, Section 2. Why choose the NFCC, America's trusted financial coach?
If debt settlement is the trap, the National Foundation for Credit Counseling, the NFCC, well, they're your trusted financial coach. They're a nonprofit 501c3 organization acting as an oversight body, ensuring strict ethical standards across its network of member agencies. And they definitely aren't some fly-by-night operation. They were actually founded way back in 1951. Since they started tracking this specific data in 2006, they've served over 35 million individuals. Think about that scale. Today, they offer over 1,500 certified counselors across all 50 states and U.S. territories. So we're talking about decades of proven, regulated consumer-first advocacy.
And what does that advocacy look like in real life? $17,000. That is the average debt reduction for their clients. It's a really powerful, tangible number that proves this system actually works. When you sit down with an NFCC certified counselor, you're plugging into a historically proven engine of financial recovery, customized for your specific situation.
Moving on to Section 3, accessing free credit counseling, taking the first step online or by phone.
So exactly how do you access this free counseling? We know what it is, we know who the good guys are, so here is the exact 3-step process. First, you connect. You literally just go to nfcc.org and use their agency finder or call their hotline at 800-388-2227. They basically act as a matchmaker to connect you with a certified local nonprofit agency. Step 2, you participate in a free 30 to 60-minute diagnostic session. This is a one-on-one, totally confidential review of your income, your debts, and your budget. Then, Step 3, your counselor helps you create a personalized, actionable financial plan. There are no obligations here, just absolute clarity.
Section 4, key benefits and tips, maximizing your consultation.
Once you actually book a session, keep in mind that this is entirely educational and completely non-judgmental. Their job isn't to lecture you, right? It's to empower you. But to get the absolute most out of it, you've kind of got to prep a little. gather your current financial documents. We're talking credit card statements, loan balances, all that. Write down a totally realistic list of your monthly income and every single expense. Jot down your specific goals, too. Maybe it's avoiding foreclosure, buying a home, or just finally getting those cards paid off once and for all. And hey, write your questions down beforehand so you don't freeze up and forget in the moment. When you do this, you step into that meeting feeling completely in control.
Because the ultimate goal of all this prep is lasting peace of mind. I absolutely love this quote from a real NFSC client named Janika. She said, "Your work and business vision have changed the trajectory of my life. I am different. I am free." I mean, wow. This isn't just about moving numbers around on a spreadsheet, guys. It's about getting your life back.
Section 5. Common Myths and FAQs. What's holding you back?
So if this is all so incredibly effective, what's stopping people? Let's just dismantle the common myths and fears that keep people from picking up the phone. The biggest myth? The expectation that credit counseling is going to completely destroy your credit score. But here's the reality. When a counselor pulls your report during that very first meeting, it's a soft pull. That doesn't affect your score by a single point. Now sure, if you eventually decide to enroll in a debt management plan, a DMP, your score might take a really slight initial dip just because you usually have to close those credit card accounts. But here's the crazy part. Research actually shows that for average FICO scores, people in these programs see their scores rise 30 points over 72 months. Remember, debt settlement drops at 161 points. Counseling actually builds it back up.
And here's another massive myth we hear all the time. I'm already in debt. I can't afford a financial coach. It's got to be super expensive. Well, reality check. The initial consultation is entirely free. And if you and your counselor decide a debt management plan is the right move for you, yes, there are fees, but they are very low. And in a lot of states, they're actually legally capped. Plus, these nonprofit agencies frequently offer hardship waivers. The financial mechanics here are literally designed to save you money, not drain you even further.
Section 6. Resources and Next Steps. Ongoing tools for total financial wellness.
It's also worth noting that the NFCC network goes way, way beyond just helping you pay off a Visa bill. They offer a super holistic, long-term approach to total financial wellness. Just look at the amazing spectrum of help they have available. They offer specialized student loan counseling, where they literally use advanced financial modeling software to simulate different repayment scenarios for federal programs, like income-driven repayment or public service loan forgiveness. They're also HUD-approved for housing counseling to help prevent foreclosure or eviction. They provide the legally required education courses if you ever need to file for bankruptcy. And they've got tons of free online courses, budgeting templates, and savings calculators right there on their website. It's a goldmine.
So, I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Are you ready to break the silence and take back your financial future? Because you really don't have to carry this burden alone anymore. And you certainly do not have to fall for those predatory traps that just make things worse. Visit nfcc.org or give them a call at 800-388-2227. The roadmap is sitting right there. You just have to take that first step.
And just before we completely wrap up today's explainer, a quick note. The information provided here offers general advice based on our source material. As we all know, every financial situation is completely unique, so please make sure to consult a financial advisor for specific personalized guidance, and always independently verify the credentials of any service provider you choose to work with. Thank you so much for joining me on The Explainer, and here's to a much brighter financial future.